You're asking about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and about his wives. Can somebody tell me what the law was prior to Islam on how many wives you could have? Somebody tell me. What was it? What was the limit? No limit. You're right. There was no limit. And can somebody tell me what the law was on how you treated your wives? There was no law. And excuse me, can anybody tell me what the law was all across Europe, all across Arabia, all the way to China? What was the law that gave a woman equal status to a man? If you think the church has something to do with it, I will share with you, in the very same century that Muhammad came, that's called the 7th century, the Catholic Church convened a council to determine whether or not a woman even had a soul. So please, okay, before you get on your high horse, it's a hobby horse. But your question is perfect. I'm not putting down the question. I'm just so the audience can get a feel of what's going on. It was only in Islam that there was a limit set. And the companions of Muhammad did not rejoice and run out on the street corners going, oh goody, we can get wives. They already had wives. They were forced by Islamic law. If you want to be a Muslim, you cannot have more than 4 wives. That's the way it really came. And it even came in the verse in such a way that you could see what it was really pointing at. Because it says, marry other women of your choice. Now that means you got to go back to the verse before. Otherwise, what is that? That sounds like we're in the middle of a conversation here. Because it was talking about another bad habit they had. Read that. I'll tell you where it is. It's chapter 4, verses 2 and 3. Just go read it and you'll get the idea. The chapter is called An-Nisa, which means the women. Clearly it says, if you're a believer, you can no longer do these bad things, such as marrying little babies. They married little girls, 2 years old, 1 year old, any age. If their parents died, the child automatically gets the property. So some clown comes along and says, that's my wife, marries her, throws her in the harem with the rest of them, and then, of course, they'll take care of the little girl, but he gets all the property, mostly like sheep and goats and tents and stuff like that. That's what they did. This was common. That was their culture. But now it said you can't do that. And another habit, they said, well, I'm doing this for her benefit. When she gets older, I'll give it to her. But they're mixing her money with their money, investing it, and if it works out, good for me. If it doesn't, too bad for her. And it said clearly, don't do that. It's haram. You're going to be punished for it. Because they're yatim, they're orphans. Marry other women. Now we're in the next verse. Marry other women of your choice. And then it gives you the number. Itna, 2, 3, 4, 4. If you can treat them fairly, equally, if you can do that. Otherwise, marry only, how many? Yeah. I thought you told me 1 from Texas equaled 4 from anywhere else.